All right, you're not going to believe this, but one of the biggest leaps forward in AI coding has nothing to do with complex frameworks or super intelligent agents. Nope. It's named after a cartoon character who's famous for eating paste. We're talking about the Ralph Wiggum technique, and it is just brilliantly simple. Okay, if you're a developer who actually uses AI, you know this feeling deep in your soul. You spend half your day just coaxing your AI assistant along, right? Constantly reprompting, checking its work, fixing its mistakes. It's exhausting. You've been there. It's late. You're just trying to finish one last thing. And instead of being your super-powered assistant, the AI has turned you into a full-time micromanager. That's what we call the human-in-the-loop bottleneck. And honestly, you're not even coding at that point. You're just babysitting. So, what if there was a better way? And this is where our unlikely hero from The Simpsons enters the chat. The whole technique is named after Ralph Wiggum for one specific beautiful reason: his naive, stubborn persistence. He messes up, he fails, but you know what? He just keeps on trying.
So what is it really? Well, the Ralph Wiggum technique basically creates a simple feedback loop for the AI to manage itself. It tries to do the job, it runs a test to see if it worked, it sees the error message from its own failure, and then it feeds that error message right back into its next attempt. It just keeps doing that over and over, learning from its own mess until the work is actually done.
And here's the most incredible part, the absolute punchline to this whole thing. The creator, Jeffrey Huntley, just came out and said it. Ralph is a bash loop. This whole revolutionary idea, it's not some massive, complex system. At its heart, it's a simple 5-line shell script. A tiny program that just tells the AI, hey, try that again. That's it. No AI swarms, no complicated frameworks, just a dumb, persistent loop.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can something that simple be so powerful? Well, let's break down the mechanics here, because this is where it gets really clever and completely changes the game. This slide really just says it all, doesn't it? The old way over on the left, that's you, stuck right in the middle, the bottleneck for every single little step. But the Ralph way on the right, it kicks you out of the loop in a good way. You just set the goal, and the AI goes off and manages itself, trying again and again until it hits the target.
And here's the real magic behind it. Progress isn't lost in the AI's short-term memory or its tiny context window. Nope, it's saved directly into your files and, most importantly, into your Git history. Git literally becomes the AI's long-term memory. So every time the loop runs again, the AI can look at the Git log, see everything it already tried, and learn from its past mistakes. It's like a relay race, where every new runner gets handed a perfect set of notes on how the race has gone so far.
This all sounds great in theory, but I know you're probably a little skeptical. Does it actually work in the real world? Oh yeah, the results people are getting with this are, frankly, staggering. Let's take a look.
Let's just start with this number. $50,000. That was the value of a contract to build an MVP, a minimum viable product. You know, the kind of thing that usually takes a whole team weeks, maybe even months. One developer decided to just set an autonomous AI loop on it and see what happened.
And this is what it actually cost to deliver that $50,000 project. $297. That's it, just API fees. The entire product was built, tested, and reviewed by these autonomous loops.
I mean, just look at that return on investment. That is a 16,800% ROI. We are not talking about a tiny little productivity bump here. This is a fundamental shift in the entire economic model of how we build software.
And the stories just get crazier. You've got a team at a hackathon that built 6 fully working repositories overnight, with 0 humans involved. But the wildest one has to be this. Jeffrey Huntley just let a Ralph loop run for 3 months straight, and it created a complete functional programming language from scratch. He called it Cursed, and its keywords are all Gen Z slang, like slay for a function and sus for a variable. I'm not kidding, a programming language built entirely by a persistent AI loop.
So by now you're probably thinking, okay, I get it, it's powerful. How do I actually use this? So let's get into the practical playbook, how you can set up your own Ralph loops for success, while, and this is important, avoiding the potential pitfalls.
Okay, there are 4 things that are totally non-negotiable here. 1, you need a crystal clear, measurable definition of done. The AI needs a finish line. 2, it needs a way to check its own work, which means you need automated tests or linters. 3, and please listen to this one, you always have to set a maximum number of iterations to protect your wallet. And 4, commit every single attempt to get. Remember, that's the AI's brain.
Now, like any tool, it's not for every single job. Ralph is an absolute monster for big mechanical tasks with obvious success metrics. Think large-scale refactoring, adding test coverage, or upgrading dependencies. But you absolutely want to avoid it for tasks that need real human judgment or for anything with vague goals like make it better. And seriously, if your codebase doesn't have automated tests, just don't even try it. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's have a serious talk about the money, because this is where you can get burned if you're not careful. One single loop on a big project can cost $1 or $2. So a 50-iteration run could easily set you back $100. The golden rule is to always set that max iteration limit. Start low with something like 5 or 10, and do yourself a favor. Go set up spending alerts in your cloud dashboard, like right now.
You know, when you really get down to it, this isn't just a new tool, it's a whole new mindset. We have to move away from this idea of being a prompt perfectionist, trying to get the perfect code in one shot. That's the old way. The new agile way is to just set a clear goal, give the AI the tools to test itself, and then let it iterate, test, and refactor its own way to a solution, pretty much like we do.
And honestly, this quote from Matt Pocock just captures the entire moment perfectly. The whole industry was sprinting towards these insanely complex systems. AI swarms, multi-agent orchestrators, all this wild stuff. And then it turns out the most effective solution was a simple 5-line script named after a goofy cartoon character.